Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Natasha Nelson, your life doctor. Welcome to Untamed and Prosperous, your home for open and honest discussions about what it means to become your most authentic self. Today, we are going to talk about becoming and being an explorer and going on the ultimate adventure. But first, I need your help. If you could hit the subscribe button and help me beat the algorithm, that would be great. So thank you. All right, so are you ready to be an explorer and go on the ultimate adventure? All right. How many of you watch Shark Week? I do. I love Shark Week. Yes, there's all the cool sharks and the different things and the explorers, but you know my favorite episode? There's always one every season where it seems like two explorers go down to the deepest, darkest crevices on the bottom of the ocean floor, and they find some weird looking, effed up looking creature that has too many eyes, and it's translucent and you can see its organs, and all this stuff on the inside. You can see through its skin. It's ugly, right? And one guy is like, this creature is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And the other person's like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So that is one of my favorite because it's so crystal clear. For me, when I began the journey to really understand what's at the root of the unhealthy behaviors in my life, what was the root of all of the choices, every action, every decision that I ever made, what was the root driving it? What was in there? And I was really scared in the beginning to go down and really deep into the core of my feelings and the emotions, because I thought that I would get lost. I thought I would get lost in there and I would suffocate, I would die, I would never be able to come out. And that's okay. But I'm here to tell you, no, I'm going to give you some guidance on how to not get lost and how to become the adventurer and the explorer of you, and do it in a way where you actually kind of want to. You may not like it, but in a kind of weird way, you kind of do, because there's a challenge in there. But it's really because once you understand the creature that you find and you come face to face with, you're really glad you took the adventure. So, it's an adventure that you're going to take more than once. You're going to want to, because every time you dive down into the river of who you are and the deep, dark crevices of your heart and your soul, and you find all the nooks and crannies that are you, and you really get to, it's like there's something magical about taking the dive and then coming back to the surface and seeing what you found. It's a treasure. And that's what you're going to do every time you start to feel uncomfortable, you feel upset. Every time you are feeling upset or triggered, right, about anything, that's the opportunity for you to go on the deep dive and go on the adventure to really follow that all the way to the bottom to see what's there, find the treasure, and bring it back to the light to really get a good look at it. So how do you do that? Well, you start with, there's an uncomfortable feeling. I don't like it. Okay, let's go, right? Put on the scuba gear, put on the mask, put on the oxygen tank, right? And you know how much time you have, and you just pick a spot, pick the emotion, go in. You start with an emotion how about you look it up in the dictionary? How about you actually look at the meaning to see if what you feel actually matches the definition of what that word means? Because oftentimes you might get there and be like, Well, I thought that I was feeling, annoyed and angry, but really it was something else. And that's what it was for me. I thought like, oh, I'm just angry. I'm angry. And I was, but really when I went deeper down, what I found that it was rage. And what I really found below that was terror. I was terrified. And we'll do more about what to do with the feelings once you identify them. Today is just the willingness to be the explorer of your own heart and your own soul, and when you feel upset, what that means. So I like my little shark here because it's really recognizing that sharks are magnificent. They truly are the great, great creatures of the water. And even with all the explorations and all the Shark Week episodes, sharks are really misunderstood, aren't they? You get to the place and you realize you don't want to come face to face with it, without a cage in the water. Some of you might. I've got friends who do that. But they're really misunderstood. And so are all of the uncomfortable feelings that you feel. You are misunderstanding what the purpose of them and what they are trying to tell you. So if you are afraid to go on the deep dive, remember, there's a lifeline connected to you back up to the boat, right? There's a lifeline. So if you get lost in the water, you follow the line back to the boat. Well, I can be that lifeline for you. That's what my mission and my purpose, my work is all about, being the lifeline for you. So if you are ready to take the dive and look at the most effed up, ugly looking creatures in your life, you got it. You can do it, I promise you. The first one's the hardest, okay? So where to start? Well, can you identify the emotion that you are most afraid of getting lost in? And for me, rage. Rage. It's my rage, the rage monster that lived in me so long. And once I brought it to the surface, I saw the beauty in it. So that's where you're going to start, whether it's one word or 5. Make a list and we'll go from there. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that this was helpful and just gave you a spark of like, it's going to be okay, and to take the deep dive. Okay, ready? Go. All right, so I'm Dr. Natasha Nelson. Thank you so much for listening. If this was helpful, make sure you leave me a comment and subscribe to the channel, and share this episode with anybody that you think might enjoy hearing it. All right, I'll see you next time. Until then, live life untamed.